Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois, as Chicago Fire FC2 plays host to Orlando City B on Matchday 13 in MLS Next Pro. Sean St. Jacques, happy to be with you here on MLSNextPro.com. Two teams from the East looking to gain some ground on the teams in front of them, and this evening could be a big game for both to move up the table in the Eastern Conference standings. The East has been a very fascinating lead to look at so far this season. These are two teams that have a big opportunity to make up some ground in both of those respective regards. Orlando City B has a chance to jump back into third place if they can get all 3 points tonight, as the defending champions Crew 2 just usurped them for the third spot in the league. Chicago Fire FC2 has some games in hand, including this one tonight. A win could see them jump up a few spots and get right back into the playoff picture in a very congested and competitive Eastern Conference in MLS Next Pro. Chicago Fire 2 in general in a much better vein of form these last couple of weeks. Of course, Bridgeview just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Windy City. It's going to be a really intriguing matchup tonight. Chicago's never beaten Orlando in MLS Next Pro in their two prior meetings. So tonight is a chance for some uncharted territory and a bit of get back for Chicago Fire FC2 as well. And Orlando City B come to just outside of the Windy City in very good form themselves. 3 wins in their last 5, and they took down FC Cincinnati 2 by 4-0 last time out. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it rolling here this evening. Starting lineups for both teams. Coach Ludo's group for Chicago Fire FC2 looks like this. 2 attackers up front, Victor Becerra and Alex Moniz, looking to continue to bring home the goals for Chicago. That's been in good shape as of late, but it's the depth in the midfield that really stands out for the host. Trip, they call him. Richard Fleming III leads them there with Javier Casas Jr. Martin Perelman's group for Orlando City B is also very stout in the attack. Not many better scorers in the league's history than Jack Lynn, who leads the line for Orlando City B. And in that midfield, you look at Christian Medina and, of course, Imanol Almaguer to lead a very strong middle of the park for tonight's visitors. Peter Bernardi is our center referee this evening in Bridgeview, Illinois, and it will be Chicago in their navy blues and the red trim. Going from left to right here on MLSNextPro.com, that will kick us off. Orlando City B are in their road whites with the purple trim, and we are off and running from SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. Again, Sean St. Jacques, happy to be with you here on MLSNextPro.com. Orlando City B in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference, looking to continue to push up the charts. And Chicago Fire FC2 once again taking on a top team in the East. It's their 3rd straight game against one of the big boys, if you will, in the Eastern Conference, and so far, so good. They picked up 4 points at Crew 2 and at Revs 2. They're hoping to continue that trend tonight against Orlando City B. Visitors are on the attack here. Perez into the middle. Galena was there. Referee blows his whistle for the very first time in the middle of the game here for a stoppage. Checking on one of the Chicago players inside of the Chicago penalty area. It's Andreas Euland, who's been in good form for Chicago. And Peter Bernardi is going to give us a drop ball, it appears, here to restart things. Gives us time to tell you that this June, MLS Next Pro is happy to celebrate Pride Month and support our LGBTQ+ fans and community. The beautiful game is for everyone. 3rd all-time meeting between these two. Orlando City B has been rather dominant in this series. Again, just the 2 meetings, but Orlando City B won both of them last season. The most recent was July 17th of 2022. It was a wild affair here at SeatGeek Stadium. Orlando City B came out 4-3 winners in a crazy back and forth game. Chicago's hoping to flip the script tonight and pick up their first ever win against the Baby Lions. Touch into space here on this near side. Robert Dean Jr. was able to pick that up. Back it goes for Jeff Gall, who's in goal tonight for Chicago. Noah Egan gets the start. Of course, some that follow the league. Noah Egan did get sent off against Revs 2 last time out, but because of the red card rule, Noah Egan's suspension will come against the next time Chicago meets New England, which means he's eligible tonight. Ball's threaded through here for Alex Moniz to chase. Moniz's ball through takes a ricochet. Richard Fleming III tried to get onto it. Chicago applies some pressure. Alejandro Granados in the middle of that did well initially, but he gives it away here. Becerra tries to backheel it, but Fleming and Moniz not quite ready for it. Again, Orlando try to build out of the back. And it's finally sent forward by Imanol Almaguer. Cleared by Gall, controlled. Kibanguchi. Part of that good back line for Orlando City B, coming off that clean sheet. 4-0 win, 4 different goal scorers for Orlando against FC Cincinnati 2 last time out on June 11th. And of course, most teams have a pretty congested week in MLS Next Pro this week, so getting off on the right foot on match day 13 would be big for multiple teams. And again, for Chicago, they had another wild affair in Foxborough last time out against Revs 2, a game that Chicago led early on. Revs 2 came back to take the lead within the first 21 minutes of the match. Then Noah Egan got sent off early in the second half, but Coach Ludo's group stayed with it, came back and got a point. This ball's threaded through for Jack Lynn, who can be very lethal from these positions. Yulin blocks his initial attempt. Lynn tries to re-establish the play. Granados ends up playing it back, and Orlando City B are forced to go to their back line here to reset. 7 goals this season for Jack Lynn as Jeff Gall collects. There haven't been many players in MLS Next Pro that have a better scoring resume in the year plus we've seen of this league than Jack Lynn. He was up towards the top of the Golden Boot race last season, and he's right there again in this campaign. Make no mistake about that. Good early ball here into the middle, but Dominic Pereira is able to collect. Good cross in from Robert Dean Jr. Comes in to get the start tonight for the Next Pro side. Jack Lynn switches the point of attack, although Justin Reynolds swarming there, nearly one possession back for Chicago. It's where the Chicago press could really make Orlando City B work tonight. It led to that equalizing goal scored by Tripp. Richard Fleming III. It was a beautiful finish, first time ball that he struck. And Noah Egan gets a talking to from the referee after that challenge. Free kick for Orlando. Early stages of this game, just a bit of a pullback there from Egan. Has to be careful. Free kick ends up being won by John Solis. Lynn, Juninho, Shaq Mohammed, and Almaguer all scored for Orlando against Cincinnati 2 last time out. Talked about the great goal from Fleming, just a miraculous finish. Noah Hernandez scored the first goal in Foxborough. Both of the Chicago goals essentially came directly from the press, causing Revs 2 mistakes. And Coach Ludo, in our conversation with him this week, talked about how proud he was of the resiliency shown at the end of the game. Last 40 minutes he talked about after Noah Egan got sent off. He praised his group for staying with it, but did say they have to be a bit more disciplined. Said love the fact that they're going into challenges hard. That's not the issue. It's have to be better about not picking up cards and staying disciplined. And again, the word balance always comes up with Chicago. Can they find it? They're always in search of it. And when they do tend to find it, as we've seen recently, they tend to get some really good results. And Coach Tayondier talked about that this group's not afraid of anybody. They've had a tough stretch here. They've faced the best in the East, and they've come out on the other side of it a better team, and they've gotten points to show that. That's an early ball into the penalty area. Nobody in white able to attack it, and it's a Chicago throw on the near side. Of course, Chicago has picked up 4 points in the last 2, but before that, they were on a league-high 8-game winless run. Even during that run, Coach Luda was talking about the confidence this group has to stay the course. They continued to feel like they were close to breaking through, and these last 2 games have been huge steps forward, it feels like, for Chicago, with more room to work with, as there's a challenge in behind on Ostrom. Referee waves away any foul appeals there. Orlando City B were looking for a free kick and possibly a card there. It never came. Dean from Egan. Moniz comes back to help. Enrique Galina for Justin Reynolds. It's headed forward by Perez. Galina for Chicago. Moniz again. Sent down the line by Javier Casas Jr. Moniz. Little give and go. Ostrom trying to feed it for Becerra. Moniz trying to keep it alive. But Orlando City B deal with it initially. Now can they deal with the press? Yes, they can. They play right through it. And that's a lovely incisive ball down this near side, but too much curl on it. Sees it trickle out of play, but that's the right idea for Martin Perelman's group. This was the foul earlier with Ostrom, but the referee might have gotten that spot on. Not enough contact there to warrant anything further. Kibanguchi plays it centrally. Taifi, he's back there. Oh, and Pereira playing with fire there inside the first 10 minutes. Dodges the attempt from Tripp to get in behind. And now Lynn trying to thread it through with the outside of his right boot. Not quite able to come off for him. Nice incisive pass through from Moniz. Moniz stays on his feet. Ostrom on the overlap. Moniz tries to find Richard Fleming III. He does. Dean's on the overlap. Robert Dean Jr. Cross does come into the back post, and in the end, Alex Freeman takes no chances with Ostrom lurking. It's a Chicago corner. More good build-up play from the hosts here. Not quite the end product they were hoping for, but more promise. Corner kick upcoming. Javier Casas Jr. whips it in towards Dean. It's headed back over the top and out for another corner. It was Kibanguchi, got his head to it. Set pieces have also been a place, attacking and defending, for Chicago, where they've been looking to get better and improve as this season has gone on in MLS Next Pro. From the corner, oh, it sneaks its way through, but nobody really able to get a touch for either side. It does trickle back out of play, and on this end of the pitch, Chicago gets a third corner. Well, this literally could have gone anywhere. It just bounces in, and it's actually Imanol Almaguer that misses his kick at the near post, and Chicago, luckily for Orlando City B, had nobody there waiting to knot it in. Another try here for Casas Jr. Another decent ball whipped in. This time Orlando City B headed out of the penalty area. cast off of Orlando. It stays with Chicago. Fleming, Casas, Galena. Switch the point of attack. Charlie Ostrom's on the scene, Reynolds as well. Casas, it was behind him. Couldn't quite control it. In the end, it's sent forward. Kimonguchi. Reynolds retrieves in the end for Chicago, but he's doubled and loses out to Freeman. One of the things that Coach Ludo for Chicago talked about in the lead up to this game, said it's going to be a chess match between these two, but it can be a very exciting chess match. This is flared out wide for Perez. Perez shoots, goal, parries and collects. I was curious if Perez was going to cross or shoot. It appears he went with the latter option. Jeff Gall was ready for him with two white shirts queuing up behind him. Muhammad and Lin were ready to touch it in. But Gall was on the scene and well positioned. Just when it looked like Chicago were ready to grab some momentum, a good spell of play comes for Martin Perelman's group. Chance to chat with Coach Perelman earlier in the week as well. Always great to catch up with all the coaches around the league. Always appreciate them spending some time with us, especially during a congested league like this. Ooh, as Jack Lynn is going to be booked here for kicking the ball away. That's a silly yellow card to pick up.
Yellow card caution has been issued to Orlando.
Free kick for Chicago. He was frustrated with the decision.
Jack Lynn, in the 15th minute
He
of
ends
play.
up getting booked for dissent and kicking the ball away. And just to confirm, Jack Lynn was booked for Orlando. Dean Jr. plays it back for Egan as Chicago resets. Yeah, we talked with Martin Perelman this week. Just talked about the consistency. The guys that have been getting a lot of minutes have been playing so well this season. And so we're happy with the team and the performances, but we want more. It's not easy to build a new team and get big results while helping the first team. But he said overall, it's been a good job by the boys, good job by him and his staff, he thinks. And there could be bright things ahead for Orlando City B. And of course, long term, all the talent for the first team as well. Of course, Orlando's first team won the U.S. Open Cup a season ago. And they want more trophies. That's a lovely dummy here, Fleming. Dean Jr. runs onto it, and his strike is blocked just inside the penalty area. Chicago can recycle, bit of a handball appeal on the edge of the penalty area. Chicago's allowed to continue on. Galena threading it through for Monis. Becerra snuffed out, and Orlando City B come out with it. Muhammad trying to counterattack for the visitors. Not enough numbers, though, to really make it count, at least not yet. Almaguer is forced back, and it is a reset in the end for Orlando City B. Becerra sees it go out of play. Took a second there for the assistant to make a decision there. It is going to go Chicago's way. Galena loose with his touch, but he regains possession. Pass in the end is astray. It is a throw-in for Martin Perelman's boys here. One of my favorite things personally to talk about with the coaches is chemistry and team bonding off the field. And Martin Perelman told us a great story about how his team likes to set up barbecues throughout the season and just have that time away from the pitch to bond as a group, continue to build those lasting relationships and things of that nature. Barbecuing has been a bit of a theme this year. Multiple coaches have talked about the barbecues. I mean, why not? It's a heck of an activity in general and extremely fun to bond over. But the best part for me of the story was that Martin Perelman said, I'm the one that grills. He's the one that puts together the food and the menu, if you will, that the players and staff eats. And I said, does anyone else get a chance to get on the grill? And he said, no. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Of course, it's one of those things. I think everyone can relate to that. If you've got your special recipes and you want to make something special for those around you, want to make sure it's cooked right. I think anyone can relate to that. You want to make sure that everyone is keeping their distance from the grill when it needs to be necessary. Orlando do have a set piece to defend here. It is curled in. Carrera is able to make the catch in traffic, and Orlando City B can reset. The other coaches around the league have talked about the barbecues, and it seems to be a case-by-case basis. Sometimes the players take control of it, and one or two get on the grill, and they make the meals for the players, but Martin Perelman says, nope, I can take it from here. And from what I was told, the food has gotten a lot of positive feedback, so maybe that's the right move. Like I said earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let the big chef take care of the meals. Galena. It's threaded through nicely for Moniz. Nice turn by Becerra. He keeps possession, trying to find an opening. Instead, he finds Robert Dean Jr. Dean runs out of room and loses possession. Galena. Dean. Enrique Galena. Not sure if he was trying to shoot or curl that in behind for Casas. Didn't come off for him. Striding and weaving run by Shaq Muhammad. In the end, he does find a teammate. It's right up ahead. Solis chipping it through. Perez crossing it. Lynn was in the middle. It went over his head. Ostrom, couple of miscued kicks. Lynn tries to keep it alive. Fleming the third clears it, but only as far as Almaguer. Almaguer once more out wide. Assistant referee sees a push in the back against Ostrom. Freeman wins a free kick for Orlando City B. Coach Perelman's boys do get a chance here to create an opportunity from a set piece. And again, defensively, this is where Chicago wants to improve. Let in a couple of set piece goals against Crew 2. A few matches ago in a 4-2 win. From here, Galena gets his head to it for Chicago. And again, to help it along. Muhammad. Still Shaq Muhammad. Medina down the line, and Almaguer not able to catch up to it. Out it goes for a goal kick. Again, it's the third all-time meeting between these two. Orlando's got the 2 wins so far. This is a Chicago team that is in much better form as of late. Not that they were in bad form during that 8-game run, but now the results are coming. They're hoping to make another statement here tonight. Dean resets. Of course, Chicago is trying to get their first home win since March 30th. They beat TFC2 here on match day 2. They haven't won at SeatGeek since. There's some pressure there. Christian Medina was able to deal with it. Reset by Andreas Uland. Galina. All the way back again for Uland. Fleming, who scored that gorgeous goal against Revs 2, sends Dean on his way down this near side. Dean waiting for teammates to arrive. He finds some space. It's a good cross into the middle. The header is down, and it is in. It's a goal. Charlie Ostrom heads it in for Chicago. Fullback to fullback for the hosts. And Charlie Ostrom's second goal of the season gives Chicago a lead of 1-0. Beautifully set up here by Robert Dean Jr. Needed to find a little extra time. He did. Gorgeous cross. And it's a very simple header in the end, and that's all it needed was a touch in. And Charlie Ostrom finds the back of the net for Chicago. And Coach Ludo's boys are off to a flying start. Dean to Ostrom, and Chicago takes the lead against Orlando, just like they did against New England last time out. Well, the 2 goals they scored in Foxborough both came from the press. This came from a transitional moment. Great individual work initially by Dean. Very cool, calm finish from Ostrom. That was a tough angle. Had to make sure he got it on frame, and he did better than that. He found the back of the net. And now, after Martin Perlman's group concedes a goal, they didn't do that against FC Cincinnati 2 last time out. We'll see if they're going to be able to respond here. For Chicago, can they hold on to the lead? Last few times they've taken the lead in Next Pro, they've let it slip away. Can they build on their 1-goal advantage? Galina has his pass picked off. Then Orlando City B give the ball away high up the field. Fleming the third picks it off. Nice header in for Galina. Galina heading it through once more. A couple of free kick appeals from the Chicago players. It was on the outskirts of the penalty area. Nothing doing. Pereira is going to reset for Orlando City B. It took a couple of bounces before it left the field of play. It is Orlando's ball. Great finish from Charlie Ostrom. Great feed by Dean, as that's going to be an Orlando City free kick. We know the attacking prowess is there for Chicago. It's been there all year, just about. It's been finding that balance and continuing to get better defensively for this Chicago group. And again, this 2-game plus stretch, we've seen Chicago start to turn a corner. And one of the other tough parts for Chicago this season is they have struggled in kicks from the mark scenarios this season. Again, it was 2-2 in Foxborough, so it did go to penalties, and Chicago wasn't able to pull out the extra point. That has hindered Chicago a bit this season, those kicks from the marks. Coach Ludo did comment on that this week, and just talked about, something we don't do well, he said. Kicks from the spot. He said, players, when they go up there, they need to have a strategy. We're giving them information about what the goalkeeper doesn't like and places they should be trying to find in the back of the net and things like that. He said it's like a poker game. He said his team just has to get better at it. And as he said, with a lot of different aspects of this Chicago team this season, feels that it's going to come. His team will be able to figure it out and will get better. And he's been right in a lot of aspects with this group this season, no question about that. Coach Ludo is always positive with this group, and Martin Perelman had the same sentiment with his group, says there's a lot for them to do to get better, as we mentioned earlier, but they're on the right track and they're doing the right things collectively as a group to get better, find the identity of the team, and to keep pushing for performances with the next pro team and potentially down the road with Orlando's first team. Granados trying to thread it through for Orlando in the middle of the Chicago defense. Fleming the third for Dean, who set up the Ostrom goal. It's sent forward by Jeff Gall. Pereira. Dangerous pass. Casas Jr. gets a big touch to it, but can't control it to start a counterattack, which is where Chicago can be extremely lethal. Bit of harrying going on there. Granados wins an Orlando free kick. Taken quickly for Solis. Lins through the middle, Mohamed off to the right. Perez off to the left, he tries to cross it, it's blocked by Dean. Perez again, sizes it up. Shaq Mohamed thought about it and takes aim, it's blocked. Medina curls it, and it takes a kind hop in the end for Gall to come up with it. As we've seen, Orlando City B are certainly capable of making inroads in this game, but Chicago have had the better of it. That's a free kick that's going to go Chicago's way. Martin Perelman and his staff not thrilled with the decision here. Chicago gets the free kick. Offside flag is up. Talked about earlier, Coach Ludovic Taillandier talked about how this is going to be a chess game tonight, this matchup between Chicago and Orlando City B. Gave Martin Perelman and his staff a lot of credit, says he loves the way that Orlando plays. Said that they're very bold in the way that they play as well, which could be a way you could describe Chicago as well in the attack. Both teams certainly have the attacking talent to play in that kind of a style. Make no mistake about that. And the depth as well. That's why when these two teams tend to play, entertainment and great soccer tends to come out of it. And now on the counterattack, Chicago have numbers here. Casas into the middle looking for Monis, cleared by Taifi. It comes out for a chance. Oh, it's a screaming effort by Galena. Pereira palms it out. And Enrique Galena with a gorgeous effort here. And it needed to be a good save from Pereira. It was in the end. It sat up so nicely for Galena. He hits it ever so well, but it's a great save from Dominic Pereira. And it goes out for a Chicago corner. From the ensuing corner, Casas trying to help Chicago add on to their advantage. Ball is curled in, the header is over the top. I think Dean was in there. Yulin had a chance at it as well for Chicago. Ball in the end does not go on target. But again, Chicago showing how dangerous they can be on the counter. And Orlando electing to try and play through them once more here, which can be a dangerous game. Shaq Muhammad playing it back. It's a dangerous pass, but it finds a teammate. Taifi. Pereira in some trouble. Becerra picks his pocket. Casas is in the middle, and Pereira makes amends and blocks it out for a corner. It's why with that Chicago press, when it's on, when it's humming, it can be ever so difficult to deal with. Pereira didn't have many options here. Becerra picks his pocket, but can't find Casas, who was cutting through the center of the penalty area. Javier Casas Jr. sets up the set piece. Another good ball whipped in. Becerra was there. Egan tried to send it into a slew of players. Casas reloads and then can't find a navy blue teammate in the middle. Reynolds can recycle. Moniz. Dean switching sides. Can Chicago double their advantage? Moniz runs out of space. Now can Orlando City B counterattack? Reynolds steps in front of Lynn. Freeman tries to help. It ricochets forward. Moniz gives chase, along with Almaguer, and then Pereira. Dangerous clearance, but Orlando City B can settle things down. Sent forward by Solis. Perez. Back for Granados. In the end, Gucci and Taifi could settle things down at the back after another frantic passage of play in this game. Casas Jr. trying to win the ball back unsuccessfully. Medina looking for Perez, and Dean nudges it out of play. It's a throw. In the live table, Orlando City B are in 4th place, trying to get back ahead of Crew 2. Chicago Fire FC 2 are in 11th. And climb back into 9th if they can pick up all 3 points here. Even 2 points here tonight if it comes to that, of course. Long way to go. Could do either side a world of good here. That's why that penalty shootout bugaboo that Chicago's run into this season has hurt them a bit in the standings. Those extra points they could have picked up, could have moved them close to the top 6. Perez in behind. Good challenge from Andreas Uland. Down the line it goes. Galina cut out by Medina. Granados down the line here. Solis curling it into the penalty area. Jeff Gall is there. Muhammad is shielded away by Justin Reynolds. Goal scored by Charlie Ostrom back in the 24th minute. Fullback to fullback. And that has Chicago out in front. Moniz picks it up. Players over to his right. Dean is one of them. He got the assist on the goal. Through the middle for Moniz. Galina thought about trying another. He does shoot in the end. Gobbled up by Pereira. Another look at the last sequence. Galina almost unleashed another vicious effort initially. Got a little bit closer, but this time the shot was a bit more tame. Dominic Pereira is able to make a pretty comfortable save in the end. Chicago wins the ball back. It's threaded through the middle beautifully. Fleming the third is there! And Pereira denies him at point-blank range. Fleming scored a gorgeous goal in Foxborough. He's been denied here by the goalkeeper. Dominic Pereira makes another big save for Orlando City B here. Denied Galena earlier, and Fleming the third can't believe it hasn't dipped in under the bar. Another golden chance for Chicago. Can Orlando hit back? Challenge comes in, referee sees nothing wrong with it. Reynolds plays on here for Chicago. He's brought down, that's a free kick. Marauding run through the middle from Justin Reynolds, who was on the score sheet in Columbus. He's taken out there. Free kick for the hosts in these latter stages of the first half. Set piece is sent in. Pinballing around here. Egan to Dean. Dean's ball in is deflected, and it's out for another Chicago corner with just over 5 minutes left in the first half of play. This right-hand side for Chicago has been where the majority of the chances have come and where the goal has come from as well. Can Chicago add another here? Once again, Casas Jr. stands over it for Coach Ludo's boys. Casas, headed down by Euland. Handball appeals coming in. Referee looks away, nothing there. Reynolds recycles it, looking for Euland again. And it does get headed out of play. And it will be another corner, yes, confirmed here by the assistant on the near side. Another chance upcoming. A replay here, not sure if that's a penalty. That would have been rather harsh, I think, on Imanol Almaguer. Don't think his arm was in a natural position there. I think that would have been very harsh. Casas back to live action, whips it in. In the end, it is cleared away by Solis, and Reynolds will reset to Gall. Casas. Dean was begging for it down the line. Fleming on the scene as well. Galena curling it over to the far side. The pass comes up short. Orlando City B come out with it. Granados, and now it's on the near side here. John Solis. Space in front of him. Solis has Perez. Lynn through the middle. Offside flag is up. Reynolds made a good challenge with Mohammed lurking on the back end, but it's all negated by the assistant's flag on the far side. Well, again, Orlando City B showing you how lethal they could be in the counterattack. Lynn was queuing up. Mohammed was as well. Again, Reynolds wasn't to know. Good challenge from him. But it is a free kick for offside in the end. Might have been on that initial pass to Perez by Solis, which is why the free kick is being taken just outside of the penalty area by Jeff Gall and sent forward. Egan on the second ball. Casas' header. Reynolds calms down the scene. Casas wins the ball back for Chicago. Slipping in Becerra, not quite. When Ostrom wanted to play advantage there, referee brings it back for a free kick. A yellow card comes out as well. Alejandro Granados, I believe, is the one who's received it for his challenge on Casas Jr.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Orlando City B number 59, Alejandro Granados.
So confirmation of the Granados yellow. Chicago wanted some advantage there, but the referee does give them a free kick. And another opportunity to add on to their 1-0 advantage. Ball is chipped in. Egan was the one to get his head to it. Mohamed comes out with it for Orlando. Final few minutes of what's been a really fun half of MLS Next Pro Soccer. Charlie Ostrom's goal has Chicago out in front at the moment. Orlando trying to change the script though. Nice marauding run on that far side. Chance here for Solis. Sliding it through. Jack Lynn is in behind. And it's deflected over the top and out for a corner. I think Euland, who stays down here for Chicago along with Jack Lynn, does just enough. Another look at the replay here. Solis' ball through is incisive. And it is Euland's challenge off of Lynn. It sees both players go down, although it is given as a corner for Orlando City B here. Both players are back up. Two players just going for the ball. Euland does his job defensively. Anytime you see the 7 goals of Jack Lynn coming your way in this league, you need to make a very good challenge. That's what Euland did to stop him. This is the ensuing corner. Ball is whipped in, headed away. Chicago gets it out of the penalty area via Dean's head. Recycled by Almaguer. Mohamed cushions it down for Freeman. Out wide it goes. Medina's ball in. Takes a deflection out for another corner. To enter injury time at the end of this first half. With Orlando in search
The
of
referee
an
has
equalizing goal.
indicated that a minimum of 1 minute will be added on to
There will
the
be
first
one
half.
additional minute at the end of the stanza. Can Orlando City B make that minute count? And count on the score sheet. From the corner, it does come in, and Ivan Gucci was the one that took a big swing at it, but not able to redirect it on target. And that might very well be the last major act of the first half. Well, good pressure from Orlando City B at the end of this half. Chicago have had the better of it for a good chunk of the half. Orlando City B have always been threatening, especially when they've gotten out in transition. Charlie Ostrom's goal separates the sides at the end of this first half. And there is a big 45 minutes still to come at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. Well, two very fun teams to watch, two attacking sides,
Orlando City B,
and
0.
both showed some very
Your
positive play
Chicago
in that
Fire
first
team.
half, but it was fullback to fullback for Coach Ludo's boys. Robert Dean Jr. finding the head of Charlie Ostrom, and Chicago Fire FC2 have the lead over Orlando City B by 1-0 at the half, and we have a big 45 minutes still to come. Major League Soccer and RCX Sports have launched MLS Go, a groundbreaking recreational soccer program. Boys and girls aged 4 to 14 can now experience a fun, affordable, and local soccer journey. This fall, MLS Go debuts in 18 markets, expanding access to the sport. You can go to mlsgo.com to find out more information. We will have highlights and stats from our first half coming up, but first, let's meet one of the stars of the league, despite playing a little over half of the team's matches after an early season injury. Former Liga MX youth star Cristo Vela has contributed a goal and an assist so far in 2023. Samara Perez had the chance to meet the forward. Here was that conversation.
Hola amigos de MLS Next Pro, los saluda Samara Pérez. Hoy tenemos el gusto de platicar con Cristo Vela, jugador juvenil mexicano que defiende la playera de Austin FC2. Cristo, bienvenido y gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy.
Hola, muchas gracias a ustedes.
Cristo, estamos muy contentos de poder platicar contigo y poder conocerte un poco más a fondo. Primero nos gustaría saber cómo fue ese proceso para llegar a Austin FC2.
Pues la verdad estaba yo en mi anterior equipo en Cancún y creo que Sean, en ese entonces trabajador de aquí, pues fue a ver un partido de allá del equipo y ahí fue donde me vio y donde preguntó pues al club por mí y ya de ahí fueron pues negociando y todo y a mí me gustó mucho la idea de venir acá y pues al final se dio, gracias a Dios.
Trying to hit this from distance, spilled in front, it's over the line, Austin will win it! Cristo Vela cleans up the scraps and takes all 3 points for Austin FC!
Cristo, ¿y qué diferencias encuentras entre la Liga de Expansión MX y MLS Next Pro?
Pues la verdad, las dos son muy competitivas, o sea, las dos son diferentes, pero tienen muy buen nivel y me han gustado mucho estar en las dos y siento que me estoy adaptando apenas a lo diferente que es acá.
Oye, Cristo, ¿y qué tanto influyó tu papá Alejandro Vela para que tú fueras futbolista?
No, pues yo creo que todo, porque desde chiquito yo iba a verlo y a sus entrenamientos y yo creo que ahí fue donde me empezó a gustar y a apasionar pues el fútbol.
Cristo, tu papá fue jugador profesional y tu tío Carlos sigue activo. ¿Qué significa para ti representar el apellido Vela?
Pues para mí es un orgullo y la verdad pues yo estoy muy contento de lo que han logrado ellos, pero yo estoy haciendo mi camino y no trato de compararme con ellos, pero me enorgullece tener ese apellido.
¿Y cuáles son tus metas con Austin FC2?
Pues mis metas yo creo que son quedar campeones aquí con el equipo, aportar a llegar a ese campeonato con goles, con asistencias, trabajando y yo creo que quedar campeón es mi mayor objetivo aquí.
¿Qué ha sido lo más difícil que has enfrentado en esta temporada?
Pues yo creo que mi lesión, porque estuve 4 partidos fuera y apenas estoy regresando de ella y yo creo que también como el adaptarme a un nuevo país, a un nuevo torneo, una nueva cultura, yo creo que eso ha sido lo más complicado, pero yo creo que cada día me siento más adaptado y bien recibido por mis compañeros.
Platicábamos antes de que llevas 3 meses en Austin. ¿Cómo has afrontado todo esto que mencionas?
Pues bien, yo nada más vengo aquí a trabajar y a entrenar y a cumplir nuestros objetivos pese a todas las circunstancias que pueda haber.
Y platícanos acerca de cuál es tu mayor sueño como futbolista profesional.
Pues yo creo que jugar con la selección mexicana, un mundial, jugar en Europa y tener una carrera allá en Europa.
Cristo, bueno, también preparamos unas preguntas rápidas donde vas a responder lo primero que te venga a la mente. ¿Estás listo?
Sí.
Esta va a ser una dinámica divertida. Ok, primera, ídolo de fútbol.
Messi.
¿Por qué?
Porque es el mejor de todos los tiempos.
Muy buena. Ok, un estadio en el que te gustaría jugar.
En el Camp Nou.
Jugador con el que mejor te llevas en Austin FC2.
Con David y con Eric y Alfonso.
¿Y qué tal tu inglés del 1 al 10?
Yo creo que un 7.
¿Qué es lo que más extrañas de México?
La comida y a mi familia.
¿Qué comida en específico?
Tortas ahogadas.
¿Y cuál es tu comida favorita de Estados Unidos?
Chick-fil-A,
Un talento oculto que nadie sepa de ti.
los videojuegos. Bueno, un videojuego.
Y por último, completa esta frase. En una palabra, Cristo Vela como jugador es...
Apasionado.
Bueno, Cristo, te agradecemos mucho por tu tiempo y estamos muy emocionados por ver tu crecimiento aquí en MLS Next Pro.
No, gracias a ustedes.
Bueno, gracias a todos por sintonizar. Nos vemos en la próxima.
Good stuff there. 5 of the 9 matches on Sunday saw home sides take 3 points, but 2 road squads won last night as well. Here are select highlights from MLS Next Pro on Sunday and on Wednesday.
David Paraba, the captain, scoring the lone goal for Crown Legacy FC 2 weeks ago. Looking to continue his momentum, 2 goals and 2 assists on the year. And Yuri Tavares, the left winger, in the center circle. Flipping it back out, headed away is Lapkus, and now an open net. Oh! Taken away by Roberts. On the far side, chance for an equalizer, off of it, and a goal! Long pass, top the arc, Duchamp kicks out, fires, goal! Filipovic went down, and that's gonna do it. Columbus Crew 2, a 2-1 win.
Meek has the run of Sunderland. Here's Lawson. Sunderland has Destin backside. Sunderland still, and scoring is Lawson Sunderland. Slow walk up from Batiz. Jesus Batiz just beyond the outstretched hand of Finnerty. We're level. And he's been a rock for Toronto. Perlman to end it over the bar. Lucas Zimmerman-Cheech is the next one. Zimmerman-Cheech past the arm of Finnerty, who's upset at himself, felt he should have had it as he gets the right way. Sarsar walks up to it. Sarsar off the bar, that'll do it. Marcus Zimmerman-Cheech tucked away the last one. Sarsar misses this one, and Toronto picks up the bonus point tonight.
Huntsville in the navy blue and St. Louis in the white. Early opportunity. Bolaños blasted home by Insa. The ball inside in a dangerous area. Klein leaves it for Watts. Extra pass, but Tachi, he can't take a shot. Now Watts stays on side and sends it home. Guzan wants it back, sends it in right to Glover, and then what do we have here? Now Amiche, Law, Bolaños, wide open chance is pumped home by Adam Sipic. Kimi Amiche at the spot. The slow walk up, and Amiche sends it home. After the foul on Jonathan Bolaños, now Josh Drack. Amiche!
4-4-2 formation. What's interesting is each line of this formation has at least one teenager for Philly tonight. They're lining up in a 3-4-3, going back to that same three-back from their loss to Columbus over the weekend. Home kits on the right hand of your screen, and Crown Legacy on the road in their black uniforms. And action is underway at Subaru Park. Out wide to Williams. Far post header in the net. Battle here between Charlotte. Shot, goal! Short play from Charlotte. And that is the final whistle in Chester, Pennsylvania. Crown Legacy FC win.
And then Isak Jensen and Ben Loons will each make their third appearances. Akil Watts and John Bell
But it's a pretty similar lineup to what we've seen in past weeks, not wholesale changes in terms of personnel. Capo Chavez moves it along, comes out for Torre, who sends it right back in. Faudry heads it centrally, and this is going to be an own goal, but the flag is up for offside. Here it is again. Faudry, yeah, it does in fact look like. Torre will get it back, different angle on the cross. Keller puts it in the middle, all the way to the back post, off the crossbar, and it's smashed home! Faudry will send this through. David Rodriguez couldn't get there, Lute slides in. And that's it. The last action tonight as Austin has come on the road. They have grabbed the goal they've needed, and they have taken 3 points.
Announces a homegrown signing of New England will join the first team next season. Don't mind Jack Beer and MD Myers. A bit older, a bit further along in their career. Adebayo Smith takes it away from the back line, charges ahead. Jordan Adebayo Smith cuts it back, chance. Here's Sade. Rebound in front, put in. Malcolm Fry cleans up the loose change. Alex Yagadayev bouncing on his line. Marcos Diaz over the bar. A chance to have maybe sealed this one. Instead, new life for NYCFC. DiPonzio drops it in, top of the 6, and over the bar. That should do it. There's the final whistle. Relief from the New England players. After an hour delay, they finished what they started. Great action there. Still great action to come here in the second half between Chicago Fire FC 2 and, of course, Orlando City B as well. Sean St. Jacques back here with you. Chicago leading by a 0-0 at the half. We'll get you out to the 45 minutes in just a few moments here, as well as Chicago's trying to get their first ever win against Orlando City B. But remaining schedule throughout the rest of the weekend for MLS Next Pro. Still some big games upcoming. North Texas and Earthquakes 2 on Friday. NYCFC host Columbus Crew 2. Huntsville and Inter Miami stands out as well, and Colorado Rapids 2 hosting Tacoma Defiance before Real Monarchs finish it up at home at the end of match day 13 as well. Let's take a look back at the first half between Chicago and Orlando here at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois. And Chicago had the better of it, certainly had the better chances in this first half, and this was the one that is counted for the most so far. Robert Dean Jr. chopping it onto his left and finding his opposite fullback, Charlie Ostrom, for his second MLS Next Pro goal of the season. That's been the only goal of the game so far. It's a beautiful ball in. Ostrom, who's unmarked at the back post, with a very nice header into the back of the net to give Coach Ludo's boys the lead, and a lead that they thoroughly deserved to that point in the match. Orlando City B did have some chances of their own to get back into the match, but they weren't able to take any of them. Set pieces have been a big factor in this half as well. Chicago had a chance to add on to their lead. Henrique Galina unleashing a shot from the edge of the penalty area. Great save from Dominic Pereira. He had a few big saves. The OCB goalkeeper in the first half. None better than this one, palming it away from his goal and out of play. Vicious strike from Galina, well hit, but well saved by Pereira as well to keep Orlando City B within a goal. But Chicago kept on coming. Pereira almost one-upped himself with this save, denying Richard Fleming III his second goal in as many games, but not able to do so. Not quite able to put that on target, Fleming III, and in the end it was sent over the bar and out of play. Halftime stats look like this. Chicago leading by a 0-0. Possession is relatively tight, but you look at the shots and shots on target. Both are in favor of the hosts so far, but some big saves and blocked shots from Orlando City B have kept it at just the 1-goal margin to this point in the match. Both teams are certainly capable of adding on in the second half. We will see if Chicago can hold on to their lead, or if Orlando City B can flip the script on them here in the second half. Orlando City B will get things started in the second half in their whites from left to right. And off we go at Bridgeview, Illinois, SeatGeek Stadium. Charlie Ostrom's goal has Chicago out in front.
Entering the match, number 49, Luca Purpa. Leaving the match, number 24, Jonathan Dean.
Chicago did make a substitution at the half. Luca Purpa, who has a goal and 3 assists so far this season, comes on to try and change the tide, really continue the tide going the right direction, I should say, for Chicago. He's had a phenomenal season. One of the playmakers in Coach Ludo's midfield. He comes on to try and add on to the Chicago advantage. Ball is played all the way back to Pereira. Is that a free kick? Yes, it is. Bit of a late decision there. Coach Ludo not thrilled. Goes Orlando City B's way here. Orlando's in search of a yellow card. Hasn't come. Medina trying to restart the play. Orlando City B just played it quickly, but Chicago were all over it. Goes out of play for a throw. Purpa comes on trying to change the look in the midfield for Chicago. But the press continues to make Orlando City B work for it here at the back. Multiple opportunities for Chicago have come from this high press. Purpa and Egan applying it. Orlando City B will have the throw in front of Coach Tayondier. Has to be thrilled with the way his team has come out in this game and taken it to Orlando City when they've had the opportunities. Can they get that all-important second goal? There's that confirmation of the halftime sub. Dean Jr. comes off. The assist on the Ostrom goal. Purpa comes on. That could mean a bit of a formational change for Chicago as well. A fullback comes off, and that extra midfielder comes on. Egan, Euland, and Reynolds, part of that back line with Ostrom. Could go more into a bit of a 4 with Purpa sliding into that 4 in the midfield. Fleming, Casas, and Galena part of that as well. This is Galena trying to find Monis. Now Reynolds. The goal scorer, Ostrom through the middle. Freeman with a nice run. He finds some space here. Solis has space to run into. On top of that, ball is played out wide, I should say. Perez's shot in the end was blocked. Fleming the third comes out with it and clears. Only as far as Medina. Good touch by Lynn. Lynn fouls Egan, it appears. Chicago gets a free kick. Reynolds. Casas Jr. keeps it in. Through the middle, Becerra. Casas Jr. out wide. Oh, and Fleming tried to feed it through for Becerra. Egan recycles for Chicago. Fleming again. Perpa. Charlie Ostrom crosses it. Too far in the end for Monis, and it's out for a goal kick. We talked about it earlier. Chicago trying to add another good result on the back end of the two that they got in Columbus and in Foxborough. It was all after an 8-game winless run. They're trying to get their first home win, Chicago, since match day 2, March 30th here against TFC2. They won by 2-0. Orlando City B, though, stand in their way and looking for an equalizing goal. Franco Perez thinks better of it. I'll say Orlando City B, as good as they've been this season, on the road is where they have struggled at times in this campaign. They win a corner here. On the road in their last 3 games, Orlando City B has only scored once. And of course they had 4 separate goal scorers last time out. But their away form this year, 6 games, not including tonight, 2 wins and 4 defeats with a -7 goal differential. So the numbers tell you that on the road at times, Orlando City B has found some roadblocks, and they are behind here at the moment. Chance to change it though. Medina's ball in. Goes past just about everybody, and it does go out of play for a goal kick. A little too much bend on the ball into the penalty area. Orlando are without 2 of their mainstays tonight. Javier Otero, their main goalkeeper, and Moises Tablante, as well a goal scorer this season for Coach Martin Perelman's group. Both are away with the Venezuelan national team. Great honors for those 2. Of course, Orlando still have the likes of Jack Lynn, who has scored 3 goals against Chicago. It's actually the most anyone has scored in this fixture, in this matchup between the 2 teams. He has the most goals. And he's tied for 3rd in the league with 7, as we mentioned earlier. Once again, the 2nd year running, Jack Lynn towards the top of the goal scoring charts in MLS Next Pro. Ostrom to Casas. Turns to look for space. Switches the point of attack. Orlando City B are all over it. Solis. Harried by Egan. It's a unfair challenge, in the opinion of our referee. Free kick for OCB. Maybe Lions take it quickly here. Medina crossing it into the middle. Fleming the third's header. Was there a handball on the clearance? Not quite. Monis tries to leak out. Falls for Perpa, who plays Monis in. Ostrom is behind him. Alex Monis plays Charlie Ostrom in, looking for a second goal, and it's parried away by Pereira. 3rd big save of the night for Dominic Pereira. And the offside flag does come up late, so the goal would not have counted, it appears. Ostrom's onside there, it must be said. Regardless, Pereira comes up with another big save here, down to his right. And Chicago, great counter-attacking play, but once again, the finish eludes them here, and it stays at just the 1-0. Ball is thrown into Becerra. Becerra, did he keep that in? No, he did not. Ball is played in by Perpa. Goal, obviously, very clearly here will not stand. Becerra did not keep the ball in before that. It's a goal kick for Orlando City B. moment, Orlando just a step slow on the throw-in. And Victor Becerra nearly made them pay for it. That's an errant pass over to this near side as again, Chicago try to wear Orlando City B down with this press. When applied correctly tonight has really worked wonders again for Chicago. Said it earlier, Coach Ludovic Taillon-Diaz talked about how it's been clicking. Chicago continues to turn a corner, and they grab a second goal here. Casas Jr.'s ball in, headed away. Kibanguchi. Shaq Mohammed with a good turn under pressure. Franco Perez sends it forward for Orlando. Too far out in front in the end. Tried to switch the point of attack for Alex Freeman, but way too close to Jeff Gall. And he resets the play for Chicago. That's a foul and a free kick. It goes Chicago's way here on the far side. Charlie Ostrom's goal in the 24th minute has Chicago out in front. Can the hosts make it stand up or add on? Freeman's header. Lynn's control. Solis and Perez linking up. And Granados cut out by Galena, only as far as Medina. Now a chance here for Almaguer. Looking for Mohammed. It's last off of Reynolds. Medina. Freeman. Nice pass into the middle here. A chance for Solis. He flares it out wide. Solis gets it back. Egan does enough, and then Euland's clearance ricocheted right back into the path of Gall. Goes out of play for an Orlando City B throw. Herba, back for Fleming the third. Monis. Tripp sends it to Ostrom. Helped along by Reynolds and by Casas Jr. Victor Becerra is in behind here for Chicago, but he runs out of time and space. Another brief opening there and a chance, but it doesn't quite come off for Chicago. In the live table, Chicago would get back up to 9th, which would put them in a good position to really climb up the table in these next few games if they can keep putting positive results up on the board. But a long way to go before we get to that. Again, it's one back. Perpa for Becerra. And in the end, Kibanguchi is able to step in. The kicks from the mark that Chicago had last time out against Revs 2 was the 4th time they've been involved in it this season, and they're 0 for 4. To Red Bulls 2, Minnesota, and Huntsville. That was 3 in a row. And again to Revs 2 last night. They want to avoid that tonight. Ostrom, who's already scored, playing it into the middle. It's cut out. Chicago keeps it with a throw on the near side. Chicago doesn't want to go back to the lottery here. They want to secure these points and put it beyond a reasonable doubt. Ostrom's put them on the right track. Casas Jr. Ostrom down the line. Good ball across, the header. Again, Fleming the third comes close. But once again, he does send it over the top of the bar with 30 minutes left of the 90. Ostrom, who was the beneficiary of a great cross from Robert Dean Jr., who has since been substituted, tried to return the favor. Richard Fleming III not able to redirect the ball on target with his head. Chicago gets right back to work. Casas Jr. thought about finding Perpa. Fleming III has played a little bit deeper since Perpa's come back on as a substitute. Trying to find Monis. It's out for a Chicago throw-in. Just in front of Coach Ludo's technical area. Perpa on the turn. Monis ahead of steam. Tries to backheel it to Perpa, but it's behind him. There was also white shirts in the way as well. Mohamed with a bit of a loose touch. Galina. Perpa. Casas. Ostrom the goal scorer. Perpa. And Casas. More good build up here from Chicago. Perpa can't get on the end of the ball from Ostrom. And it is Medina who does very well here and wins a goal kick. It's a narrow margin, still plenty of time left. Again, Orlando City B trying to play out of the back. They've had trouble with that tonight. Chicago's press, as we kind of expected it at times tonight, has made life difficult for OCB when they've played out of the back. There have been times when Martin Perelman's group has done well with it, but more times than not, Chicago has created something from it. It's out of play. Takes a deflection in the end. It is a Chicago throw. Arms up on both sides here of the technical areas. Sometimes the referees get penalized for taking their time to make a decision from situation to situation. As long as they get it right, that's what matters, but sometimes patience wears thin on those touch lines. Freeman has his pass batted out. OCB keeps it with a throw in further back. Ostrom's goal has Chicago ahead for now. Can Orlando build on some of the glimpses we saw in the first half? They had some good passages of play. Orlando City B in the first half, no question about that, but for the most part tonight, it has been Chicago who've been leading the way, but as we've seen at times, can Chicago keep that focus, keep that same intensity? As Orlando is certainly capable of changing the tide. This time, they're stood up. Perpa gives it back and tries to win it back. Advantage is played here for Medina. Shaq Mohammed. Freeman. Alex Freeman. Now it's played near side. Almaguer curling one in. It's over everybody's head. Freeman was the target. Perez was behind him. It went over Freeman's head and touched out of play before Perez could send it back into the middle. Almaguer scored his first ever goal for Orlando City B in that 4-0 win against FC Cincinnati 2 last time out. Hasn't been as much of a factor this evening, although Chicago deserves a lot of credit for that. Shaq Muhammad, of course, was the second overall pick in the 2023 MLS Super Draft out of Duke University. Also 2 goals in his last 2 games, has been a factor tonight. 14 in white, but hasn't quite taken a chance yet. Hasn't had too many opportunities. Jack Lynn's had quite a few. Some big saves from Gall, big block from Andreas Uland in the first half denied him a chance as well. So Orlando City B once again showing that they are up for the fight, but haven't found the equalizing goal. Ostrom did find the back of the net. Now he finds Casas Jr., who pokes it through from Moniz. Flag might have gone up there. Doesn't matter. Pereira, who's had a huge night for Orlando, comes up with it. Uland and Lynn get acquainted once again. It's cleared out for a throw. Lynn leaves it. Perez settles for a throw. And it looks like Chicago is going to make a change here. Sergio Orejel Jr. is going to come on. And that is going to be the end of the night for Victor Becerra. Chicago midfield, it's even deeper for the hosts.
Leaving the match.
Orejel Jr., Perpa, Casas, Fleming, Galena. The list goes on and on. It's very deep midfield, and now they're trying to get on their way once again here. Chicago. Casas Jr. gets on the end of that ball in behind. Great curler in behind from Moniz. Freeman, though, is on the case. He stops the attack, but does concede a corner in the process. Corner kick upcoming for Chicago. OCB put together a few good offensive attacking moments, but now can Chicago hit back? Ball is curled in. Fleming's header! 3rd time he's come close tonight from his head. Richard Fleming the 3rd. This was the closest of the 3 as well. It goes out of play. And it is a whisker wide of that far post. It's a goal kick. Substitutions are coming. Get to that in a second. A look on the replay, maybe a little bit further away than a whisker.
For Orlando City B.
But a very good attempt nonetheless.
Entering the match.
2 changes for Orlando here.
Leaving the match, number 14.
Christopher Acuna.
Mohammed.
He's coming on. Shaq Muhammad. He's going to come off, and Fabian Loyola comes on as well. So a double switch.
Also making a substitution, Orlando City B. Entering the match, number 95, Fabian Loyola. Leaving the match, number 27, Jack Lynn.
So 2 attacking changes for OCB. Loyola and Acuna come on for Lynn and Muhammad. 21 minutes left. Martin Perelman still feeling as he should. This is still very much up for grabs. The visitors have a free kick as well. Can they build from it? Sent forward. Fleming the 3rd deals with it. Perpa just so calm and collected under pressure on that occasion. Ball is won back though. Medina. His pass cut out. Casas Jr. steps in, trying to free Alex Moniz on this near side. Moniz with a push and a chase. Moniz continues to try and move forward, but Kibanguchi was able to catch up with him and shield him off the ball. Now Orlando City B come the other way. Solis. Oh, he tried to thread it through in behind, and Acuna didn't see it. Thought there was somebody behind him, and if he'd actually taken a touch, he might have been able to play himself in. Unfortunate there from an Orlando City B perspective. Just under 20 minutes left of the 90. See Chicago reset with a clearance here upcoming from Jeff Gall. Medina. Just looping it ahead. Freeman picks it up. Chicago's press leads to another turnover. Galena gets it back. Lovely give and go with Orehel Jr. Galena follows up, and a high boot gives it back to Orlando City B. Taifi sends it forward. Wild swing at it by Egan. Out of play it goes in front of Martin Perelman. Now then, Loyola again trying to thread this through. It's flicked. Oh, and it's just wide of the post. Acuna involved again. And he tried to score a jaw-dropping equalizing goal here. Tight interplay. Acuna is onside as well. Tries the outside of his right boot. It's an audacious chip. And he nearly snuck it past Gall. Cleared by Jeff Gall in the end. There's still a lot of moments still to come here with 18 minutes left. Still feels like anyone's game. Chicago's turn to mount an assault on Orlando City B's goal. Orehel Jr. Galena, who came close in the first half. Egan misplaces his pass. It goes out of play. And it's an Orlando throw. Played back by Perez, resetting it for Orlando City B here. Coach Ludo said this was going to be a bit of a game of chess today on the pitch. It's turned out to be that in some ways. Tactical battle. It's certainly been fun to watch. Who can make the final few moves necessary to claim the king? Orlando City B looking for an equalizing goal. It's a vicious strike from Loyola. Jeff Gall palms it out. It's an Orlando City B corner upcoming. Substitutes, both of them, Acuna and Loyola, coming close here in as many minutes. Good strike by Loyola. One last look at it. Better save from Gall, though it might have been going wide. Jeff Gall wasn't to know. Orlando get a corner out of it in search of the equalizing goal. Medina will leave it. Ball does get whipped in. Ostrom, the goal scorer, deals with it. And Alex Moniz pushes it into space. Casas is up there with him. Moniz plays Casas in behind. Javier Casas Jr., Orehel Jr. makes a run into the middle. It's a foul and it's a free kick. Well, Moniz and Orehel Jr., along with Javier Casas Jr., who's been booked for that challenge, all had a good break, but Casas Jr. is booked. Orlando City B snuff it out, and they get a free kick. Another look at it here. Chicago will try once more. Galena stays on his feet and then loses out in the end. Medina stepped in, but then gives it back. Fleming the third. 15 minutes left of the 90. Ostrom's goal has Chicago in line for the points. Casas Jr. wins a free kick for the hosts. Bit of a pullback there. Imanol Almaguer leads to this set-piece opportunity for Coach Ludo's boys. And they take advantage of it. Casas Jr. chips it in. It's headed centrally by Euland. Comes out for Alex Monis and he overruns it. Loyola comes out with it. But Orlando's counterattack is snuffed out. Javier Casas Jr. picking up the pieces. Out wide for Perpa. Sergio Orejel Jr. scuffs his shot. Easy enough for Dominic Pereira. He's had much tougher to deal with, the Orlando City B goalkeeper tonight in place of Javier Otero. Boy, has he met the challenge. Now then, Acuna with a push and a chase. Egan gets to the spot first and concedes a throw. At the replay here. Clean challenge from Noah Egan. Orlando City B's throw. Search of a leveler. And potentially sending Chicago back to the spot if it ends in a draw here. There still needs to be a few moments to happen. Well, Chicago will get another victory under their belt. Another impressive one at that. Beating Crew 2 at the home of the champions a couple of games ago, and then going to Foxborough. 2-1 down to 10 and coming back to get a point. This ball's in behind and Ostrom almost assumed that Freeman wasn't going to get to that. In the end, he was right. Jeff Gall will reset with a goal kick. Orejel Jr. trying to help it along. Perpa, rare miscue from him. It is a throw-in, and another Chicago sub, Alex Monis, is going to make way here.
For Chicago Fire 2.
Michael Nessie is going to come on and replace him. A like-for-like change.
Number 58.
Coach Tayondie's boys.
Michael Nessie. Leading the match, number 38. Alex Moniz.
Change is made. Chicago gets some fresh legs in the attacking third. Chicago has had quite a few goal scorers this season. Michael Nessie is one of them. Scored against Toronto in a 3-2 defeat. Reynolds almost helping Solis to the ground there. It's a free kick. Medina. Almaguer. Lovely ball through. Alex Freeman keeps it in. Oh, it was a scramble for it in the front of the penalty area. Acuna just needed to get a touch. In the end, it settled nicely for Gall to grab it. This could have really been dangerous. Freeman might have been offside here. That's what Chicago appealed. And actually, I'll tell you what, Acuna does get a touch to that. Gall saves it. Could we see a few more twists and turns in this match? Perez gets past Fleming. Flares it out wide here for Solis. John Solis assessing his options. Solis is able to find some space here on the byline. Couple of great moves here. He lays it off for Loyola, who stood up in the penalty area by Perpa. Still not definitively cleared. Oh, and then Perpa is penalized here. Challenge coming in on Acuna. Free kick in a dangerous position here for Orlando City B. Another look. Chicago just didn't quite deal with that. I think it's the follow through from Perpa. Sees the referee bring this back for a free kick. So our center official, Peter Bernardi, is going to set this up. 5 white shirts in contention. This set piece, although, ooh, as I say that, Acuna seems to still be struggling here. 3 have walked away from it, including him, who's clearly still struggling. Christopher Acuna, referee sees it, but it's going to allow play to continue. It's Perez who strikes, but puts too much on it. One more look. Had the right idea as far as the bend required, but from that close of a distance, it's more about the dip and the pace, and on that occasion, Franco Perez just not able to get it quite right. Gall sends it forward. And it down for Ostrom. His goal still separates the sides. Back in the 24th minute, he scored it. Albert Dean Jr. with the assist. Fullback to fullback. And that is where we stand right now. Medina, helped along by Loyola. Further forward by Granados. Out wide for Perez, and the flag is up. Third minute here. SeatGeek Stadium, Bridgeview, Illinois, just outside of the windy city of Chicago. Sean St. Jacques here with you. MLSNextPro.com. 2 very good attacking sides. It must be said, Chicago defensively has done enough work in this game. Not that Orlando City B hasn't, but a clinical finish from Ostrom has seen Chicago take control of the game, and so far they have not relinquished that control, not fully. Flag did go up here against Orlando City B. Chicago gets a free kick. Sent forward by Noah Egan. Ostrom does very well here to keep the ball in play, does the goal scorer. Now Casas Jr. Nessie trying to let it run between his legs, but it was cut out. Loyola is surrounded and fouled. Free kick. Nice move by Solis. Solis tries to thread it through. There's a crucial touch in there defensively that sees it run out of play for a corner. Perez could very well have been in there. From the corner. Taken short. Centering pass, Imanol Almaguer. It's very ambitious, but in the end not well struck enough to get it on target. Unfortunately for him, it is out of play for a goal kick. 5 minutes left of the 90. Can Orlando City B rescue something here? Or will the good times keep rolling for Chicago? Against the top teams in the East, they faced 3 of the top 4 in the East in their last 3 games, and they could get a positive result in all 3 of them. Haven't won at home since March 30th. Can they end that streak tonight? Get their 2nd win in their last 3, be 3 unbeaten for Chicago, and they start to move the needle a little bit in this Eastern Conference with so much quality. Now then, Granados playing it through. Acuna went through there. It's going to be a free kick for Chicago. Oh, and a yellow card for Christopher Acuna. Substitute does see a yellow for that challenge.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Orlando City B, number 57, Christopher Acuna. In the 87th minute.
If it stays like this, Orlando City B, who began the night in 3rd, would drop to 4th. Take a look at that challenge one more time. Chicago started in 9th, went down to 11th. They'd go back up to 9th if this holds. And there's still time left. Galena, Orihel Jr. not able to find a teammate. Orlando City B will try and build again from the back. Herrera clears. Freeman gets ahead to it, as does Galena. Medina. Oh, lovely skill there from Freeman. But a play it out of the back. Loyola looking for Acuna. In the end, Gall is there. Chicago, it's been a professional job, it feels like, defensively in this second half, holding on to their goal lead. But Orlando keep on coming. They have some numbers here. Shot does take a deflection from the boot of Solis. It's going to ricochet out of play for an Orlando City B corner. 2 minutes and change of the 90 left. And there's Galena, just not able to control it, then slipped. Again, Orlando had some numbers here. It's Egan's block in the end that leads to this corner. Is there a late twist in store for us here in Bridgeview, Illinois? Medina is there for the short option, but it's going to be sent in. Gall comes and does, in the end, make the catch. He's going to outlet this as well for Orihel Jr. Orihel Jr. surging forward. Great run through the middle by Galena. Michael Nessie picks it up here for Chicago. Great ball across, looking for Perpa, but it's cut out. And now Orlando come the other way. Fabian Loyola. Loyola leads the break. Ball out wide was for Solis, but Solis is offside as we enter the 90th minute. Well, now for Orlando, it is going to come down to how much stoppage time there's going to be here. Another brief moment of end-to-end soccer here. Finest of margins in this game. Can Chicago see this out? Substitution is going to be made here. That's going to be it for Javier Casas Jr.
Substitution.
Good shift from him.
Chicago Fire 2.
And it looks like Mateo Kidd
number 46
is going to come on.
Mateo Kidd. Leading the
For
match,
light
number
change
37,
in that
Javier Casas.
deep midfield for Coach Ludo's boys. He has so many good midfielders on this roster. Again, Casas off, Kidd on, and the 90 minutes are pretty much up. Looks like there is going to be 3 added minutes left for Chicago to try and see this out. Down the line it goes, far side for Perpa. Perpa for Nessie. Kidd for Ostrom, the goal scorer. And Ostrom is going to take it into the corner to use up some clock. Ostrom does well in the end, uses some clock, and wins a throw for Chicago. Well, it is an end-to-end kind of game between these two. That's the smart move to avoid Orlando City B possibly getting out on the counter. Euland for Egan. Fleming the third, confidently done. Galena gets it back to him. Challenge comes in, referee plays advantage. Ostrom in space here. Nessie makes a run. Nessie trying to hold up his run. Freeman wins a free kick. Just over a minute gone of the minimum of 3 added on. Orlando City B don't have time to waste here. They got to get this up the field. Ibanguchi plays it ahead. Granados further forward. Can Orlando City B snatch a goal right at the end here? Perpa trying to deal with Solis. Solis's ball is central. Helped along to Alex Freeman. Freeman goes on. Cutting it back onto his left. Sliding it through, and Loyola not able to control it. Could have been in space for Orlando. Pereira comes forward. That pass is left astray. Nessie trying to wrestle with Taifi. Defender wins out. Free kick, but only a minute left for Orlando City B. Pass is picked off. Mateo Kidd gets it back for Chicago. Plays it ahead for Reynolds. Good sliding challenge comes in by Kibanguchi. Loyola. Orlando City B still have just enough time left to equalize here. Granados out wide. Ball does come in. Oh, and Gall had to be very careful there. He caught it with one hand and then corralled it with 2 as he was falling away. Maybe made a bit of a meal out of this, Jeff Gall. Cross was not really that dangerous. But Jeff Gall, in the end, keeps that from going in and holds on for Chicago. And that might very well be that. It is over. Chicago wins over Orlando for the first time in MLS Next Pro at the 3rd attempt. Chicago is now 3 games unbeaten in MLS Next Pro. They've taken on 3 of the top 4 teams in the East. They've beaten 2 of them, and they've gotten a draw against the other. We now take a look at the Adidas man of the match tonight. It's the goal scorer, Charlie Ostrom, with his 2nd goal of the campaign. It was the only goal of the match, and enough for Chicago to take home all 3 points against one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference of MLS Next Pro. Fullback to fullback on the finish as Robert Dean Jr. picks him out to find the back of the net and to get the Adidas man of the match as well. Must be said as well, a professional performance defensively from Chicago for a good chunk of that second half to see off a very good Orlando City B team by a 0-0. 2 great attacking sides providing some great drama here in Bridgeview, but in the end, Chicago picks up their 3 points. They get their first home win since March 30th on match day 2. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. Once again, our final score is Chicago Fire 1, Orlando City 0. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and right here on MLSNextPro.com. Good night, everybody, from the Windy City and Bridgeview, Illinois.
This copyrighted broadcast of MLS Next Pro may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.